the Mary Jane Pop in the 8 o'clock hour. Also find out what all the ingredients she's putting together to chef up her show for this weekend. But as we're getting started with this Friday, we like to do it at the top of the hour. If today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. If you have a birthday, you share it with Mr. Mike Wallace, born on this day in 1918. Albert Finney, English actor, born on this day in 1936. Candace Bergen, that's right, Murphy Brown, born on this day in 1946. And yes, the piano man himself, Producer Adam. Oh yeah, he's gone today, but we've got Producer Shane here. Producer Shane, good morning. How are you? The piano man. When I said the piano man, do you know who I'm talking about there? No, Billy Joel. Close. Yeah, it's Billy Joel today. Birthday today, born on this day in 1949. So happy birthday to the piano. You know what? Elton John's a good guest though for piano man. He plays the piano. That's Rocket Man that I think that you're thinking of there. But yeah, no need to apologize. No need to apologize. So happy birthday to them and happy birthday to you on this Lost Sock Memorial Day. Let's all just take a moment and just grieve the socks that have gone by the wayside. My wife was literally doing laundry yesterday, doing the folding, and I saw something funny the other day. It says one of the curses on mankind is folding laundry. It's got to absolutely be folding.
Absolutely.
Laundry. And going through the laundry basket there, and I saw one of my socks, and I'm like, oh man, I've been looking for this pair of socks. Couldn't find the other one. Not even close. There was literally, Shane, I kid you not, probably 10 socks in there that did not have a partner matching up. And my Gen Z children are like, they're perfectly fine wearing socks that don't match at all. And it doesn't, I don't know. I can't get past not having matching socks. I'm not that free spirited, Shane.
Nor am I.
Well, and you're not even wearing socks. You're just rocking the flip flops all week. So is that your preferred when you can doing the flip flops? I noticed that's your.
It does, or it is. Yeah, even in the snow, I'll do flip flops.
Will you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Really? Okay. All right. This different strokes for different folks. Well, is something that's been recent for you, or is that
The past couple years?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why the change? That's so interesting.
Just working from home, getting relaxed, and a little too relaxed maybe at times.
Do you do the Crocs at all? Yeah, I've never gotten on the Crocs.
I don't think they're very nice looking. However, my kids every day.
Oh yeah. And you can accessorize the Crocs now. Different accoutrements that go on the Crocs.
You can.
Yeah, you've got a lot of, I don't know, pins and badges. It's like a what is it, Girl Scout, or I don't know, are we calling them Girl Scout, Boy Scouts? Anyway, you've earned your different badges for your Crocs now. My in-laws, my brother-in-law, they have house Crocs. So it's you got to take your shoes off at the door, which is not a rule in my house. I grew up in a household where if you dared to walk on the carpet with your shoes on, God help you. Was that for you growing up as a kid? Because you guys wear your shoes in the house?
Growing up, we wore our shoes in the house.
Okay.
Now I don't, but.
Yeah. Well, that's the reverse now I could not wear my shoes in the house, and now I wear my shoes in the house. And I kind of think about it sometimes. I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't wear my shoes in the house, but everything that you're tracking in there, but I still do it anyway. But yeah, so my brother-in-law, he's got the indoor Crocs. So you take your shoes off at the door, but then you can put your Crocs on, which I'm like, well, that's not a bad. I would probably wear Crocs like that, and just to navigate. But then I'd end up walking outside and forget that I had the Crocs on, and go, oh well, there's what's the point of that?
Exactly.
So, do the kids get to wear the shoes in the house, or do they have to take their shoes off?
They have to take their shoes off.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But, yeah, my son's a total Crocs man. I mean, he goes to fencing class wearing Crocs.
Okay, there's a couple things in that. Goes to fencing class. Okay, was that something that he was interested in on his own, or was that something that you guys are like, hey, you should take fencing class?
His mom found it, and we signed him up. It's through ARD originally.
Yeah, I've seen the posters out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's got signed up, and he's loving it and advancing and doing wonderful at it. Yeah.
Really? Do you get to like fence along with him sometimes,
I wouldn't dare. I don't know what I'm doing. He would absolutely get me.
How old was he when he started doing fencing?
He was 12.
Oh Oh, probably a good perfect age
It's
to
a
start.
perfect age to start. Yeah.
Really? And how old is he? 14?
He's
Is this your
14 now,
14-year-old
yeah.
now? So he's been doing it for 2 years. Oh my gosh! Is there competitions? How does the fencing world work?
I'm still learning. There are competitions. He's
Okay.
gone to a few. A few have been held in Auburn and a few other locations.
Yeah.
So he's won second place a couple times of his local group for the night and things like that. So it's been a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would imagine with fencing, you're not necessarily carrying around a duffel bag like other like basketball or soccer or anything like that. What's the gear for fencing?
He does actually carry a duffel bag that'll have like his big face mask in it.
Okay.
I think called gorget, which is like a neck protector.
Okay.
An appropriate jacket that's rated for a certain amount of protection.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
For when he's competing. When it's just
Yeah.
doing classes, it's just the headgear, and then you're fine because nobody's thrusting hard.
Is it called a foil? What is it that they're
It varies.
The sword. Okay.
It varies. There's foils, there's swords, there's
Do you
short
know the
swords.
difference between the two?
I don't myself.
I feel like the foil's the real flimsy one that they use.
That's what I feel like too.
Yeah.
I feel like foil is more commonly used with Olympic fencing. compared to
Okay.
some- there's other styles.
But
of
that's
fencing
my
too.
my only point of
Me
reference.
too.
is the
Before
Olympics.
for this,
So are they using different types of swords?
they
then?
are.
Really?
Yeah, they'll do short swords, and then they have these little shields. I forget the name of those. Wooden canes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's quite the
Wait,
thing.
is this just for anybody? Can anybody join this?
Anybody can sign up.
Really?
There's a class at Monday night in Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody is able to sign up. It's 12 and older. So they're
Is 12 and older.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So we just learned fencing is a thing here in Auburn, and no, not type where you're going to hem in a goat there, but come on, producer. Oh yeah, he's gone. No rim shot today. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What an interesting does he have his eye on the Olympics? Is this something where this could progress to the Olympics?
We've never talked about it. I
really
think
cool.
he's just doing it because he enjoys it.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not
yeah.
just do something for the fun of it? I absolutely love that. Well, that is super exciting to find out. My kids they've never really gotten into video games. Is their
Sure.
sport? They've never. My son tried karate for a while. Any of the kids done karate at all?
My son also did karate when he was younger.
Yeah, he did. Mine did it too for just a little bit, but then didn't really get into it very much. Okay. Now you're in the tech world.
Indeed.
You work in both of us work in tech, and I just learned something today as I'm reading from the Morning Brew. Apparently, we've got some. Well, you would imagine that AI is going to bring up some ethical dilemmas here and there. Yes. Do you use AI in your job at all? Is that something that you've started to
I've started to
incorporate?
use it in my job. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I do it mostly for research and some creative, like instead of staring at a blank page and trying to think of like, okay, what should I start writing? It's a great starting point.
I agree.
It's a digital assistant, and is what it is. But turns out, we're kind of bringing folks back from the dead in a way. From the Morning Brew, BBC Maestro. It's like those master classes, like so-and-so teaches a class, an expert, launched a world-first writing course last week taught by an AI version of the late mystery writer Agatha Christie.
Oh my.
So and here's a picture of her right there. So apparently Agatha Christie is on your screen teaching you how to write. This is in cooperation with her estate, using her writing and interviews, the BBC said. The next day in Arizona, an AI rendering of a man who was killed in 2021 addressed the courtroom at his killer's sentencing. Whoa. The AI version appeared in a video created by the victim's family, reading a forgiveness-heavy script that the victim's sister wrote from his point of view. The defense didn't object, and the judge said he, quote, loved that AI.
Huh.
So I can see the look on your face. Yeah.
That's a step too far for me.
Huh. Yeah. So apparently startups like Hereafter AI and Seance AI and Storyfile have popped up in recent years to let people speak with deceased loved ones and have them respond to funeral attendees. And Google's director of research on human AI interactions started an investigation on how the tech giant could make a similar service last fall. Okay, so all that being said, privacy experts are notably worried on this, beyond the risk that loved ones' sensitive data or likeness could eventually fall into the wrong hands. Quote, digital ghosts, unquote, could also complicate the grieving process. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? There's a, gosh, it's on Amazon, where it's basically, I'll have to remember the name of it. The premise is this guy knows that he's going to die. And so they upload basically his brain into the cloud, and then his relatives and his girlfriend and everything can basically go put on virtual reality goggles and still interact with him in the hereafter. Like, his body's gone, but his being is still there in a way. Yeah. Like all of who he was uploaded. And basically when you do that, it kills you.
Sure.
Yeah. If you know you're going to die anyway, like you're going to do this and it kills you, but then you can technically live on. And it's called Upload. That's the name of, I think it's on Prime. It's called Upload. It's written by the guy who wrote The Office and started the American version of The Office. But anyway, fascinating. Very moral dilemma here that we've got with this AI. Yeah. Oh, we'll see how it progresses. I don't know about Seance AI though.
That's bizarre.
I don't know what that sounds like. Anyway, all right. Well, we need to find out. We put him off long enough. I'm sure he has an opinion on this, but meteorologist Tim Root is going to give us his opinion on the weather. Timmy, how are we looking out there for this Friday?
My Friday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, light southwest winds today, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear skies overnight, 55 to 60. This dome of high pressure is going to stick around for the weekend. That's good news. It'll be sunny and warm Saturday, a little bit cooler Sunday, around 88 degrees Saturday, 75, 76 degrees on Sunday, and light breezes over the weekend. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. Introducing all new high-limit slots, showcasing over 260 exciting slots, impeccable service, premium amenities, and action that's unmatched.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
Feeling overwhelmed.
And good Thursday or Friday. What's today? It's Friday morning. Good Friday morning to you. It is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:14 a.m. I forgot about our little cue there that brings us on to our next segment. It is 14 minutes past the hour, and we are going to go on now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is
President
the Fox
Trump
Business
weighs in
Report.
on the trade situation with China on the eve of talks between the two nations in Switzerland, writing on Truth Social that China should open up its market to the United States and that 80% tariffs on Chinese goods seems right. The president also writing a Truth Social post about a proposal for hiking taxes on earners making more than $2.5 million a year and families making more than $5 million a year, while closing the so-called carried interest loophole, writing the problem with even a tiny tax increase for the rich, which I and all the others would graciously accept in order to help the lower and middle income workers, is that the radical left Democrat lunatics would go around screaming, "Read my lips." Adding, in any event, Republicans should probably not do it, but I'm okay if they do. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
It's time to live better at CAC Fit at 2514 Bell Road in the Crossroads Shopping Center. Whether your fitness goals are to lose weight, gain weight, functional training, or recovery, they've got you covered with customized training programs, fitness classes, hydro massages, and more. Open 7 days a week with 24/7 access. Stop by CAC Fit at 2514 Bell Road in the Crossroads Shopping Center. Call 530-885-1964 or online at cacfit.com.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:16 a.m. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. We've got Cruise for a Cause coming up on Saturday, May 24th. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Shane, you ever have an older car?
I did.
Oh, how old?
A 1948 Chevy Stylemaster.
Well, you could definitely qualify for this then, because it's got to be 1975 or older. Do you still have that car?
I don't. My ex-wife has it. She still has it.
Okay.
Here in town. Sometimes you'll see it around.
Wow,
Yeah.
a 1948.
Yeah.
Did you restore it at all? Oh, you're getting pics. Yeah, as a good car owner of an older car should have. He's got pics here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, we've got Cruise for a Cause. That car could definitely cruise in this one. Again, it's Saturday, May 24th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. 991 Lincoln Way here in Auburn. Now, this is all proceeds go to support the Forgotten Soldier Program, mental health for veterans and first responders. And where's that money coming from? Well, there's a $20 registration fee, and you can do that the day of. You'll have to do that at 8 a.m., so about an hour before the cruise start, or you can do it ahead of time and just show up and just hang out. You can do it ahead of time, pre-register your car at ForgottenSoldierProgram.com, ForgottenSoldierProgram.com. Is there a picture? Oh, that's a good-looking car. Wow. That's really?
Yeah.
Did you restore that?
I did not.
Okay, well, it looks fantastic, though.
Yeah. The quick long and short was, back when my first marriage, my wife said, well, we need a second car because we're having a second baby.
Yeah.
And why don't we find an old car with new guts? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So a week later, her dad found at the Sac Auto Museum, because they're also a car dealer,
whoa,
old car that had new guts.
That is a good. Well, whoever restored that looks really good. And and from like Indiana Jones, I even like the color. That's very cool. That's awesome. Well, if you want to find out more information, you can call 530-889-2300. 530-889-2300. Cruise for a Cause happening Saturday, May 24th. Back with more right after this.
We all know that money spent on politicians is nothing more than a bribe. Citizens United called it free speech, but we know better. But what if we could balance the scale a few bucks at a time? That's what we're doing at the Six Pack, taking small donations and adding them up to make things more fair. Crack open some change. Support the Six Pack. Paid for by the Six Pack, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.thesixpack.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
19 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:19 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour, Sports Ball. We'll check in. We'll let you know when the Giants are playing today and more. Off now to JT in the morning, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
So, I mean, some of the important questions about the new Pope, Cubs or White Sox? I mean, these are important. These are important questions. Bears or Bulls? Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen? These are the questions that, with a president from the Windy City, these are the questions. But with apologies to the folks who first put pen to paper and wrote the words, I'm on a mission from God. The fact that the Pope's brother is apparently very media friendly. Cue the tape.
Huge deal. How are you feeling right now?
To be honest, there hasn't been a chance to think about it because it's been constant phone calls, emails, messages, interviews. So I don't think it's really sunk in. It's kind of surreal. It's great pride. This is an awesome thing in the sense that the first, not only Pope, but first American Pope from Chicago, and a relative.
Not a lot of people can say, my brother is the Pope.
That's correct. And I can now say it.
Well, technically, only one person can say it because there's only there's only one Pope. We're not the Pope of East Asia says.
So when you found out, obviously you have pride. That's your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Did you expect this?
To tell you the truth, no, because I kept hearing there will never be an American Pope just because the politics in the United States has too much world power now. They don't need also into the church. So I did not expect it. But when I heard he was in a group of 3, then I thought, well, this could happen.
When did you hear that part, and when did you know that he was maybe one of the finalists?
Maybe like a day or 2 after the Pope died, and they were talking about who are the runner-ups and who's in line next to be Pope.
And by the way, that's a tell, because just a few days after the Pope died, there was a TV broadcast or internet broadcast starring Steve Bannon, the man who did in Andrew Breitbart to take over his magazine publishing empire. So Steve Bannon was on one of his war room shows, and he was the one who says, well, don't forget this Prevost guy out of Chicago. So there's a tell that the Pope's brother watches Steve Bannon.
I think I might have heard something about that at that point. Then I spoke to him Tuesday before he went into the conclave, and he just kept saying, no, that's not true, that's not true. So he's pushing it away, hoping that it would go away. It didn't go away.
When you actually heard that it was your brother who was selected, where were you? Were you watching television? Were you on the phone?
I was watching TV because I was reading a book. I got a text that said there's white smoke. So I went down and turned the TV on. No one knew at that point who the Pope was, but there was white smoke, so we knew. So I was watching. I called my niece just to make sure she knew. Then we just sat there and watched it, and then she said, look, the curtains are moving. I said, oh, something's coming up. Then that French bishop came out who was going to announce it, and we heard the name, and she screamed, and I said, oh my gosh, here we go. And then it has been nonstop phones and everything else.
The world will now call your brother Pope.
That's right.
You arguably know him better than most people. What kind of person is he?
And I have to say this just because I work in the industry. You had a long drive from downtown Chicago to the suburban cul-de-sac farm that the Pope's younger brother lives in. You could have taken a notepad and thought through some questions like, what would really be interesting to my viewers? I don't know, what were you doing in the drive from downtown Chicago, from your TV studio to this guy's suburban home?
A regular run-of-the-mill person, I think because he was trained in missionary work in South America for so many years, he will be looking out for the disenfranchised. He will be looking out for the poor. He will be looking out for those that don't have a voice. So I think he will follow in St. Francis. Pope Francis.
I was going to say, how is he different from Pope Francis? Or will he be different?
I don't know that you'll see a big difference. He met Pope Francis before he was Pope when he was in Argentina, and my brother was in Peru. So that's how the connection began. I think they kind of believed in the same issues, so I don't know that there'll be much difference. He might prove me wrong, but I don't see there'll be much of a tradition breaking the tradition of Pope Francis.
So that's the Pope's brother, who you're going to hear. This guy, everything, bless him, he's better on camera than the news reporter paid by the TV station, and guaranteed, almost as guaranteed as all the building owners that own buildings around St. Peter's Square make big money. And I hope they offer lower rents to all the folks who live in those buildings or use them for office space, because all of those buildings make a fortune from the TV news networks that rent the roof space and pay monthly rental fees to these buildings just so that they have a rooftop spot and don't have to scramble for a place with a good camera angle for when this happens. look me up on that. That's gospel. Pun intended. So let's unpack something from his first service here. And this is where I think misinterpretation of doctrine is. We must be a missionary church, a church that builds bridges, establishes dialogue, that is always open to receive everybody that needs our charity, our presence, our dialogue, and love. What they need is guidance. What they need is understanding. Because a faith, regardless of whether you're a Baptist or Anglican or a Buddhist, there has to be, and we're seeing this in young people in droves. They've been raised not feral, but rudderless. They're like dinghies floating in the ocean, and they're sitting there saying, there's got to be some reason for all this. And it's a sociological cycle that we go through. We go through this where, parents say, well, the kids should be kids and let them decide for themselves. And the kids start saying, there's got to be an answer. Why didn't my parents give me these answers, or at least point me towards these answers? And we're seeing a return to the faith that amongst the 20 and young 30-somethings that we haven't seen in generations. But it's because they're looking for the answers. They're looking to, what does it mean to be charitable? What does it mean to be a good husband? What does it mean to be a good wife? What does it mean to be a good parent? What does it mean to be a good neighbor? And to say, whatever you want, that's wrong. That's failing again in the way that a lot of these kids' parents had failed. And I think what they're looking for are answers.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Would your car perform better with premium gas or regular? What do octane ratings mean? I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor, your automotive prescription, right after this.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme. The solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Today's modern vehicle, whether it's a car, SUV, or light truck, is designed with a specific fuel in mind. Read your owner's manual. What octane rating does the vehicle manufacturer call for? That's what you should use. But there are exceptions to the rule. Many high-end or luxury vehicles call for premium or higher octane fuel. And the reason for this is not just due to the octane rating. There are better fuel system cleaners in premium fuels. Gasoline companies know, too, that vehicles that run on premium won't perform as well with carbon deposits. So they pack more cleaning power into their premium fuels than their regular blend. If you rotate your fuel choices around, say, every third tank full, you may find better performance and miles per gallon because you are cleaning your engine and fuel system while you drive. Just don't tell your mechanic you're trying to replace them anytime soon. With your automotive prescription, I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor. See you next time.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 9th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Loomis. Currently 59 degrees where you're at right now. Hang on to your hats, kids. Looking for a high today of 91 degrees. It's going to get a little toasty out there. All right. Nope, not Tim, not time yet. Hang on just a little bit. You'll be here in just a bit. It's time for Sports Ball. That's right. We're going to get right into it, starting on the hardwood in the NBA. Golden State Warriors played yesterday versus the T-Wolves. The Timberwolves won that one, 117-93. It's the West semifinals there. Game 2, the series is tied 1 apiece. apiece. Games in the MLB yesterday, Dodgers versus the D-backs. D-backs win that one 5-3. Angels versus the Blue Jays. Blue Jays win that one 8-5. Going locally here, we've got, speaking of baseball, our local teams, all 5 Auburn area baseball teams make the playoffs. All right, congratulations, fellas. Let's highlight here the Placer Hillman. The Hillmen are rolling into the postseason hot. Again, this is from the Auburn Journal after sweeping River Valley to end the regular season. Placer 16-12 drew the number 6 seed in Division 4 and will open Wednesday at James Field against number 3 Manteca Sierra. The Timberwolves entered the playoffs 8-17, but were battle tested in a strong Valley Oak League that features powers like Oakdale and Central Catholic. Other ones that made it in, Bear River. Congrats to the Bear River team there. The Bruins earned the top seed in Division 6 for the second year in a row. Bear River, 15-6-1, is looking to average a stunning first-round loss to Argonaut last season with a deep playoff run. The Bruins faced two-time defending section champion number 16 Leroy Green, Academy 10-10, in Lake of the Pines on Tuesday. So to the Bruins, Bear River, and the Placer Hillman, congrats. Del Oro also made it in as well. Also, Colfax did. All right, let's go. Time's for playoffs. Let's see how far we can go into these playoffs. Good luck, fellas, and congrats on the W's. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
San Francisco Giants baseball is now on KAHI AM and FM.
Swing. There's a high drive deep into left center field. It's on its way.
Catch every Giants game this season on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, your proud home of the San Francisco Giants.
My Friday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, light southwest winds today, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear skies overnight, 55 to 60. This dome of high pressure is going to stick around for the weekend. That's good news. It'll be sunny and warm Saturday, a little bit cooler Sunday, around 88 degrees Saturday, 75, 76 degrees on Sunday, and light breezes over the weekend. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. All right, I forgot to mention in the sports ball segment that the Giants are playing again. They are back in action today versus the Minnesota Twins. That's going to be at 5:10 p.m. this evening. Now, for all of you fans that were trying to tune in and listen, and I kept saying, hey, tune into KI here and listen to the Giants, and you're like, where did the Giants go? They aren't here. Well, it turns out we had a little bit of a problem with the equipment. The engineers came in. They assured me, hey, Chris, it looks like we've isolated the problem. We've fixed the problem, so the Giants should be on. Everybody, let's tune in at 5:10 p.m. this evening. I'm going to be doing the same here to make sure that the Giants are on. If not, we'll continue to figure it out, but pretty sure that they'll be back on. So make sure you're checking out the Giants here versus the Minnesota Twins. That's going to be the start of a 3-game series. They're happening tonight, 5:10 p.m. Check it all out here on KAHI. All right, we're going to head back now to JT in the morning. When we come back, we'll have your California Ag Report, your KAHI News, and more events for the calendar. Kids, there is a lot going on. Stay tuned. Back with more after this.
For me and the Lord, we got an understanding.
Yeah, at some point, somebody's going to email the program and say, please, as God is my witness, and I'm pun intended, please stop using the Blues Brothers references for this. But I think, given the media that has, and the acceptance that the former Cardinal Prevost's brother has shown a willingness to sit down with pretty much anyone who shows up at his house with a TV camera to talk about his now pontiff brother, the brothers clips there, but I still haven't found out the answer to the most important question, Cubs or White Sox, but maybe that will come at some point. In serious matters, though, to talk about the choosing of a new leader of the 1.4 billion Catholics, of which he is one of them. He is Father Frank Pavone from Priests for Life. Father Frank, how are you doing this morning, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's always good to be with you, and yes, I'm doing very well.
So, I guess the most important question is, well, no, it's not the most important, but it's the most obvious, I guess, had you ever met Cardinal Prevost in his time or had any interactions with him?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, we have a good connection with him through Priests for Life. Our associate director, which many of our listeners know, Father Dennis Wild, he's been with us since 1998. He's an Augustinian priest. And, of course, our new pope is an Augustinian. He was the general prior of the entire order of Augustinians around the world. And so Father Dennis actually knew Robert Prevost when he was a student at Villanova, and seminarian Robert Prevost started the Villanovans for Life, pro-life group. And of course, then over the years, being members of the same congregation, they crossed paths many times. And Father Dennis was very, very happy yesterday at this announcement. He said he's a very humble man. He said he's very faithful to the teachings of the church and will articulate them courageously. He said he's a very magnanimous person, obviously very concerned with the poor, and he has a very strong missionary spirit as well, which is expressed both in his missionary activity in Peru, and it came out in his remarks yesterday from the Loggia of St. Peter's.
A lot of tea leaf reading goes on in my industry, Father Frank, and it seems like everyone's trying to say, no, he's going to be on our side. No, he's going to be on our side. I mean, this is the derby going on right now. But one of the things that struck me in his first statements was that it needed to be a church building bridges of open arms, and I agree with that. The church needs to be the place we go to find answers, not just come here and it's a building you can be in. And I think we've lost some of that, and some of the churches in America have just been come here, be whatever you want, do whatever you want, just be here, and it's all about getting, pardon the phrase, but you're a New Yorker, like George Steinbrenner said, put butts in seats. Rather than be that place, come to us for answers, as we're seeing young people in droves turning to the church for answers because they were kind of raised without them, sort of, do whatever you like. And there's an innate feeling like there's got to be some sort of sense to be made of this. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And coming for answers and also for transformation. In other words, that when we say we are open to all people, and of course the new Pope emphasized that yesterday, we are open for the purpose of bringing people into the new life in Jesus Christ. The teaching of our church is that we are baptized into Christ. We receive the Holy Spirit. We are transformed into sons and daughters of God. We live a new life. And of course, that means repenting from the sins of the old life. So this Pope is, any Pope is going to know that is the call of the church. Some of them will express it better than others. I think this one, you just compare his opening remarks yesterday with those of Pope Francis. Pope Francis was basically standing there saying, good evening, everybody. And then he was talking about himself and his humility. This Pope started by proclaiming the risen Christ. I liked his approach very much. He didn't, he didn't take any time for formalities. He went right into the proclamation of the gospel. But it's too early. People are, as you said, people are very, very eager to start saying, what it is that we should expect. Let's give him time to settle in. Let's give ourselves time to. I think we should just at first, rejoice in the fact that we have a Pope. Of course, for us as Catholics, it's very meaningful. For all Christians, it has a significance, and for America, it has a significance. I was surprised they chose an American, and it should be also a reason for for pride for our great country.
Let me ask you this. There's a very famous play about faith, and I think it's Inherit the Wind, in which the line is spoken by the defense attorney, God created man in his own image, and man, being a kind soul, reversed the favor. Is that one of the problems with our society, is we're trying to make God out to be more like us rather than us trying to be more like him?
Oh, absolutely. And that, that turns on its head, what we were saying a moment ago, that, religion is meant to transform us. A lot of people want it to mean that God just kind of pats you on the back and puts a kind of a spiritual label of approval on anything that you want to believe and any way that you want to live, or any way that you want to worship him. And that's really the most ironic, is people will say, well, I worship God the way that I see fit. Well, then what does worshiping God mean? Worshiping God means you got to ask him the way that he sees fit. If he has established, for example, a call to be part of a Christian community that gathers regularly to hear his word and celebrate his gifts, well, then gather together with the community. He expects you to do that. He expects you to go to church. If he established the sacraments, as many of us believe in, Jesus said, if you do not eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. We have to put him at the center and say, well, Lord, how do you want me to worship you? And where have you spoken your word? Again, the scriptures and other ways that he conveys his word to us. We've got to look at what it is that he wants. And that's a crucially important point.
Father Frank, I know you and I have had this conversation, and I always worry because when I have these conversations with the listener, I feel like I'm teetering in ground that I'm not, educationally qualified in. Certainly, I as a follower of, I pick up after Martin Luther and his 95 Theses. So I know that I've read the Bible and I know what it says. I don't interpret it all for myself, but I always worry that I'm out here on a ledge, like Sunrise Sermonette. But you and I have talked about this in the past, that when we are picking and choosing pieces and little bits here. Listeners sent this to me, and then God said, "Thou shalt pick and choose from my gospels and disregard all the others." I mean, that's not that's not in the text. I mean, we have to take it as this is how we're supposed to live life, not as it's convenient for us.
That's right, and one of the ways for us to hold that together in our minds is to think about the truths of the faith, the truths of the scriptures. For example, most of our listeners, I'm sure, believe in the Bible, even though they may be different denominations. It's not simply a list of truths or a list of teachings or a list of commandments. It's a person. Mm-hmm. And Jesus said, "I am the truth." Now, if you're going to accept him as a person, if you're going to say, like St. Peter said it in John chapter 6 at the end, he said, "Well, Lord, to whom shall we go?" Because Jesus said, "You guys want to leave me, because you find my teaching too difficult?" And he said, "To whom shall we go? We are convinced that you are the Holy One of God. You have the words of eternal life." Once you accept the person, then what you just said falls into place perfectly, because it's like, well, Jesus, if I accept you, I'm not going to take what you say on Monday morning, but ignore what you say on Monday afternoon. I'm going to accept all of you. You come as a person. I can't accept your right hand, but not your left hand, your head, but not your foot.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.
Good Friday morning to you. It is May 9th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lincoln. Currently, it is 57 degrees where you're at right now, getting ready for a high today. All right, everybody, time for the short sleeve shirts, and the shorts. A high today of 92 degrees. Woo, it's going to be warm out there. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. This is the Heart of the Hills Blues Blast. This is happening tomorrow, Saturday, May 10th. I'm looking at you, EDH, El Dorado Hills. That's right, it's going to be at 7000 Rossmore Lane in El Dorado Hills. You can find out more at heartofthehillsmusicfest.org. And when you go there, you'll find out that this event is supported by the El Dorado Hills Chamber of Commerce, and you're going to hear from the fabulous Thunderbirds, Albert Cummings, and Lori Morvan Band. There we go. Heart of the Hills Blues Blast happening on Saturday, May 10th. Yep, that's tomorrow. The Heart of the Hills Blues Blast will feature award-winning blues Americana musicians who will rock your socks off. Producer Shane, that you don't have to worry about. You ain't wearing socks.
Indeed.
So, yeah, there's no socks that will be rocked off in your world, but still, it's going to be good music from what I hear. Nestled just above the El Dorado Town Hills Center, the Overland District grounds are the perfect backdrop for an incredible day of music. So yeah, if you want to find out more, you can go to heartofthehillsmusicfest.org. Sounds like it's going to be a fantastic time. It's going to be at 7000 Rossmore Lane, El Dorado Hills, May 10th. That's tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Produced by the El Dorado Hills Chamber of Commerce. Are you a big concert person? Do you go see a lot of music?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I haven't. I need to do that more. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have some relatives of mine love going to the concerts, are all about going to the concerts. That's just not something I've ever really gotten into, although I really love music and enjoy it. So I don't know. I'm not going to make it to this one, but but if you're in El Dorado Hills, you should definitely go. Who's your? Have you gone to a concert? Favorite concert that you've been to?
I went to Kenny Chesney many years ago.
Okay.
Actually, Taylor Swift I saw once.
What?
From the box seats.
Really?
At HP Pavilion.
No kidding.
That was really cool.
Okay, this is before the Eras tour. This is before tickets were like $700 a piece to see Taylor Swift there.
The story there is tech companies will sometimes have boxes to give away to customers, and we had just spent a lot of money with a vendor.
Yeah.
And they had tickets that they couldn't give away in the Bay Area because nobody liked country in the Bay Area.
Oh,
and so
okay.
We went, actually, it was the day before my son's first birthday, and we went mostly because their opening act was a group called Need to Breathe, and we loved them.
Oh, that's a great band.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love them. Oh, fantastic. I love that. My wife and I went to a candlelight concert in the Railroad Museum in Old Sac.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic venue. Nice. For a concert. They did it. They had but they were candles. They were like the electric candles that were battery powered, so you didn't have actual candles burning there. But all the lights were out, just as candle lit, and there was like a 4-piece quartet, like violins, all strings,
cool.
doing Coldplay.
Nice.
Oh, it was fantastic. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So that's the most recent concert. I'm using air quotes there. But hey, Heart of the Hills Blues Blast is happening Saturday, tomorrow, May 10th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at 7000 Rossmore Lane in El Dorado Hills. Find out more at heartofthehillsmusicfest.org. All right, we'll be back with your KAHI News right after this.
This is Stephen Hill. Catch Hearts of Space, Sunday nights at 8. Here on the all-new FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. The same voice of the foothills, more powerful than ever.
And here's your KAHI News for Friday, May 9th. I'm Chris Quant. Historic Yankee Jim's Bridge project set to begin road closing. This is from the Auburn Journal. Work on the Yankee Jim's replacement project will begin May 19th, starting a 3-year construction process that will require the closure of Yankee Jim's Road between Gillis Hill Road and Shirt Tail Canyon Road throughout the project. The historic Yankee Jim's Bridge was built in the 1930s and has a total load capacity of 3 tons or 6,000 pounds. The one-lane bridge has served its rural community well, but is now considered to be structurally deficient as it's unable to accommodate many modern vehicles and life-saving emergency vehicles. Due to its historic nature, Yankee Jim's bridge will remain in place. A new 2-lane arch suspension bridge will be built just downstream. Community members who use the road to travel between Colfax and Forest Hill will be detoured to use the Forest Hill Road until the project is complete. Recreational access will be restricted during this time. Updates on recreational closures will be available at Auburn State Recreation Area's website or by phone at 530-885-4527. New CHP vehicles to crack down on video game-styled driving. This is from Fox 40 News. The California Highway Patrol announced the deployment of, quote, low-profile, specially marked patrol vehicles, unquote, aimed at cracking down on what officials called, quote, video game-styled driving, unquote. CHP said 100 Dodge Durangos will be added to their fleet of Dodge Chargers and Ford Explorers as they blend into traffic enough to observe dangerous driving without being detected immediately. Quote, the new vehicles give our officers an important advantage, unquote, said CHP Commissioner Sean Duryea. Quote, they will allow us to identify and stop drivers who are putting others at risk while still showing a professional and visible presence once enforcement action is needed, unquote. According to officials, there are about 390,000 crashes reported annually in the state and 1,000 daily reports of dangerous driving, along with 18,000 citations issued for drivers speeding over 100 miles per hour. CHP said the new vehicles will help officers hold reckless drivers accountable as they take into consideration that speed is a factor in 30% of all crashes and a contributor to traffic deaths and injuries. The first 25 vehicles will be placed in various regions in California this week, and all 100 will be throughout the state by June, said CHP. CHP reminds the community that, quote, speed isn't a thrill, it's a threat, unquote. Back with more news after this.
Not able to tune into AM 950 KI whenever you want? That's not fair. Have a strict boss that only listens to music and never local news? He's not very informed then, but you knew that. Don't worry, you can get KI's up-to-the-minute news information and local advice from our talented KI news team anywhere you want now. Follow KI on Twitter or like KI on Facebook to receive local news updates multiple times a day. You can also download our KI radio app at KI.com and enjoy the voice of the foothills at AM 950 KI at any time, day or night.
Runners, to your mark. Set.
Some may see a sprinter. At the NFHS, we see a future leader already off to the races. Some may see a volleyball player.
Good hit! Way to go, girls! Woo!
At the NFHS, we see a spike in confidence that will help her achieve her potential. What else do we see? Musicians learning to march to their own beat. We're the NFHS, the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and activities in America, helping today's teenagers develop the skills they need to become tomorrow's leaders. And we see it happening in communities across California every single day. Learn more about the NFHS commitment to youth at nfhs.org. This message presented by the NFHS, the National Federation of State High School Associations.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, Robert Prevost chosen as the first American Pope. After one of the fastest papal conclaves ever, Chicago native and Villanova University grad Robert Francis Prevost was elected as the next Pope, becoming the first American to lead the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. The 69-year-old Prevost, who is also a Peruvian citizen and fluent in 5 languages, took the name Leo XIV. In his address to to the Vatican crowd, Leo XIV spoke mostly in Italian, emphasizing peace and the need to build bridges. He was seen as a massive long shot to become the Pope, not even appearing as an option on several odds-making sites. But papal connoisseurs say Prevost recently emerged as a plausible candidate to succeed the late Pope Francis due to his global experience, calm demeanor, and ability to unite various factions within the church. Ford is hiking prices on 3 models. The second biggest automaker in the U.S. will increase prices on the Mexican-produced Mustang Mach-E electric SUV, Maverick pickup, and Bronco Sport by as much as $2,000 due to tariffs, Reuters reported. A spokesperson said that the company is not passing the full cost of tariffs on to its customers, but acknowledged that President Trump's historic levies on foreign auto imports played a role in the price hikes. The automaker said last week that tariffs would cost it $2.5 billion over the full year. Trump softened his auto tariff policy last month, exempting car companies from his steel and aluminum levies on top of the 25% tax on foreign vehicles. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Meta is reportedly developing a, quote, super sensing, unquote, mode for its AI glasses that could identify people by name. De Beers, the South African British diamond giant, is closing its lab-grown diamond business, the company announced, as the value of human-made gems declines. FEMA acting head Cameron Hamilton was fired yesterday, Politico reported, amid reports that President Trump could look to shrink the department or eliminate it entirely. And Match Group, which owns Hinge and Tinder, cut 13% of its workforce as it seeks a turnaround following several executive departures and pressure from activist investors. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is extirpating, meaning destroying completely. Extirpating. And that's your KAHI News for this Friday, May 9th. I'm Chris Quant. On now to the California Ag Report.
It's time for California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. After 4 years of decline, farm bankruptcies in the U.S. are back on the rise. According to a report by Ching Lee for the California Farm Bureau, 216 farms filed for Chapter 12 bankruptcy last year, a 55% jump from 2023. California led the nation with 17 filings. Fresno bankruptcy attorney Peter Fear says many of these cases are driven by prolonged financial pressures, lower prices for crops like tree nuts and wine grapes, rising input costs, and interest rates that have jumped from under 3% to nearly 9%. For almond grower Sean Gill, that translated to a leap in monthly payments from $6,000 to $28,000, forcing the sale of a vineyard before filing for bankruptcy. Fear adds that he's seeing more filings from dairy and almond operations and notes that bankruptcies are often a last resort for farmers after exhausting all of their options. Michael Nato, who grows almonds, pistachios, and grapes in Madera and Fresno counties, says more farmers are choosing to sell off land and leave the business altogether. He says stress, volatile markets, and water regulations have made it too risky and too overwhelming for many to continue.
Today, we're talking with aphids and whiteflies about Safina insecticide from BASF.
We just got nailed with it.
So tell us, how you feeling?
Really, really weird.
And you still want to devour this field?
No way, bro.
There you have it, folks. Safina insecticide is specifically engineered to disorient aphids and whiteflies, so they can't eat. And when they can't eat, they can't destroy.
Help protect your alfalfa from aphids with Safina insecticide. Always read and follow label directions.
For the last 40 years, the Ag Information Network has been the source of news for farmers and ranchers. Yet we have never seen such an assault on farming and our food supply as we do today. From fuel to fertilizer, farmers are facing unprecedented economic challenges. This is why agriculture news that farmers receive comes from the Ag Information Network, reaching coast to coast. Deep roots in farming and decades of reporting, the Ag Information Network, trusted and transparent journalism for generations.
This is California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. For more ag news, check us out online at aginfo.net.
At Naturewoods Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like 2 sales in one. Take 10% off regular price or get 24 months of free financing with deferred payments on approved credit. Choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Naturewood. You know, the building with the water wheel.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 9th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 7 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here, holding it down. Beautiful Studio A, KAHI Studios. Looking forward to a fantastic day. Gang, it's going to be warm out there. I don't know if you know. I think in some parts of our area today, we're going to hit it into the lower 90s. So, yeah, get ready for that. So if you're planning your outfit for today, short sleeve shirts, people. It might feel a little chilly out there right now, but it is going to get warmer out there. So heads up. It's going to be a warmer one today. We're starting to head into that time of year. Oh, all right. Although I think it's supposed to get a little bit cooler next week. But we'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here. What the heck do I know? Let's check in with the subject matter expert here in just a little bit. Tim will let us know what our weather is looking like for today and probably give us a couple days into the weekend here to see what our weather is going to be look like so we can plan for our weekend. Hey, quick heads up. I was just looking at these sports ball scores, and for those of you that have been, per my advice and per what we've been saying here at KAHI, to tune in to listen to the Giants, and then you're like, I'm excited. I'm ready to tune in and listen to the Giants. And then you tune in, and you don't hear the Giants, but then you hear the commercial that says, hey, KAHI is proud to now be carrying the Giants. And you're like, wait a minute, people, where are the Giants? Well, it turns out we had some of the equipment needed some attention in that specific area where, I don't know, the engineers take care of it. The feed comes in, and then it switches over at the right time. And it really is amazing how all of this works together, and it works. It's one of those things, like, you don't notice it until you don't really notice, like, electricity, like how amazing it is until it's not there. The power goes out. And apparently one of the things wasn't working in the relays or whatever, but the engineers came in, did their engineering thing. I'm amazed by them every time that they do come in and work on these things. And we should have the Giants back on now, back here on KAHI, and we apologize for missing a few games there last weekend and this week. Giants will be back on today. They're going to start a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins, and they will be at Minnesota there. So 5:10 tonight, 5:10 tonight, we'll have the Giants here on KAHI. Listen to it here on KAHI, 5:10 p.m. Also, they're going to be playing on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 4:15 p.m. and Sunday at 11:10 a.m. So all of the action coming to you here on KAHI. I got to tell you, baseball on the radio in the spring and in the summer and even into the fall, I am here for it. I love it. I love hearing it in the background, especially with the kind of the crackle of the radio signal there in the background. It is fantastic. So looking forward to having the Giants back here on the radio, and apologies for having missed a few games there, but the equipment should be back up and running. But hey, as we like to do at the top of the hour, if today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. If you're wondering who you share your birthday with, John Brown, American activist, born on this day in 1800. I remember one of my best friends in school, I think it was back in elementary school, he chose to do a report on John Brown and Harper's Ferry. And I remember him saying that. I went, what? Who? Who is that? How did you even come across that name to pick that name? But that's how I first knew about John Brown and Harper's Ferry, was from my friend's report. I think it was either in 4th or 5th grade. So John Brown, born on this day in 1800. Mike Wallace, American journalist and media personality, born on this day in 1918. Albert Finney, English actor, born on this day in 1936. Candace Bergen, that's right, Murphy Brown, born on this day in 1946. And yeah, Mr. Piano Man himself, Billy Joel, born on this day in 1949. Sing us the song, You're the Piano Man. So happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you on this Lost, what is the official term for today? Today is Lost Sock Memorial Day. My wife was doing the much dreaded chore yesterday of folding the laundry. It's kind of a 1, 2, 3, not it in our household. Of if you see it, I'm like, oh man, I actually need some clothes, so I might as well just fold all of the other clothes. And she was the one that tackled it first yesterday. So come in with a pile of laundry, and it's nice because I was getting low on clothes, but. Went and looked for at the bottom of the laundry basket there. I'm like, oh man, I've been looking for that pair of socks. Nope, not a pair, only one. And come to find out, at the bottom of our laundry basket, yeah, there's a stack of about 5 or 6 socks that have no partner, no mate. Those socks are, I don't know, eaten, lost. I don't know where they go. We wonder where they go. Now, my children are of the age now where they can, well, not of the age, but apparently I think their generation doesn't really, Gen Z doesn't really care about matching socks, or at least maybe that's just my children who are Gen Zers that don't really care if the socks match or not. They're like, yeah, it's actually better if they don't match. So I'm like, hey, that works out for me. That's great. Well, we don't have to worry about keeping your socks in line then. That's fantastic. But for me, I don't know. I can't do it. The socks got to match. I'm too set in my ways to not have the socks not match. So we'll just remember those socks today on this Lost Sock Memorial Day. Also, Butterscotch Brownie Day if you're looking for a dessert idea for today, and it's also Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. And we're going to do our mental health minute here during the 7 o'clock hour, more towards the end of the hour. So make sure that you're staying tuned for that. And it's also Peter Pan Day. So celebrating Peter Pan. Now, if you're looking for a fun, oh my gosh, it is absolutely, I've showed it to my family. They absolutely love it. There's a group out of England called the Goes Wrong Troupe. Basically, they do theatrical performances, but they do it as if, what if everything just went wrong? The set pieces didn't work. Somebody entered in on the wrong line. So they intentionally do everything that goes wrong. The play that goes wrong it played on Broadway. It played on London's West End for years and years. And I think you can still find it on YouTube. So if you go on YouTube and look for Peter Pan Goes Wrong, it's the Goes Wrong Show, I think is the folks that do it. But basically, they do a playing of Peter Pan, but basically everything goes wrong. And producer Adam, hang on, I got something here. Hang on a second. And with everything just going wrong, sorry, I got something in my contact there, and it was bugging the heck out of me. With everything going wrong, it's, I don't know, it's an hour of absolute hilarity. I don't know, I'm a big fan of the physical comedy of people banging around and crashing around and things going. There's a scene in this where, Michael, Peter, and Wendy are there, and they built this rig of bunk beds. And you've got to appreciate when they create these special things, either for a movie or for theater, how they can do these things together. And basically, they're on these triple bunk beds. And Wendy's on top, and then Michael, then Peter's down on the bottom. And as they're going goodnight before Peter Pan comes and enters into the bedroom, the first bunk bed falls on top of the middle bunk bed. So then the person in the middle bunk bed is trapped, and then the 2 bunk beds then fall down on top of it's safe, people. It's safe, producer Adam. They're fine. No actors were hurt in the filming and production of this show, but you just see how they're trapped in it, and they have to figure out how to get everybody out, and it's just great physical slapstick comedy. So if you have a chance to check it out, I believe it's on YouTube. Peter Pan Goes Wrong is the name of the show. It's this English production company that does it. These guys are absolutely hilarious. So highly recommend if you have a chance to watch it with the family there. We have a lot of fun watching that. So anyway, as we're getting ready on this Friday, May 19th. So all that being said, happy day to you. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. We need to find out what our day is looking like. For that, we're going to turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
My Friday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, light southwest winds today, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear skies overnight, 55 to 60. This dome of high pressure is going to stick around for the weekend. That's good news. It'll be sunny and warm Saturday, a little bit cooler Sunday. Around 88 degrees Saturday, 75, 76 degrees on Sunday, and light breezes over the weekend. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 9 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:09 a.m. When we come back, hey, did you ever see somebody in the store and across the way there, across a room, and think, oh my gosh, I know their name. What's their name? Oh my goodness, I can't remember their name. And have you been like me and said, well, maybe I'm friends with them online. Maybe if I kind of sneakily get my phone out and try and find them on, I don't know, Facebook or somewhere, I can find their name before having to say like, oh, I'm sorry, what's your name again? Yeah, have I done that? Well, there might be something to help you with that. Stay tuned with that. Also, 4.5 sheep per person. Where in the world, Carmen Sandiego, is that? Why are there so many sheep per person? And why have the number of sheep gone down? We'll talk about that. Lots of interesting stuff. Stay tuned. Back with more right after this.
Is a proud supporter of the Garden Goddesses on KAHI. For retail supply needs, visit Anderson's at 825 Nevada Street in Auburn. If you're looking for irrigation supplies or need guidance on how to be water wise, Anderson's can help with everything from fertilizing to weed control and drainage. Anderson's is the area's largest supplier of pellets and energy logs, and they're fully stocked for summer orders to save on future price increases. Call Anderson's at 530-885-8475. If you're looking for service, repair, or water testing, Anderson's Service Department is at 385 Chamberlain Avenue. Call the service team at 530-888-3756.
At Naturewood's Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like 2 sales in one. Take 10% off regular price or get 24 months of free financing with deferred payments on approved credit. Choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Naturewood. You know, the building with the water wheel. Tell them Brooklyn, Nova, and Orion sent you.
Get your yard ready for summer with help from PCWA. We can help you save on WaterSense labeled smart sprinkler timers and sprinkler system upgrades. We can even help you transform your boring old lawn into a beautiful water-wise landscape. And for customers receiving canal water, we're offering rebates of up to $1,000 for untreated water storage tanks. Check out all the ways PCWA can help you save at pcwa.net/rebates.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
The American Cancer Society Discovery Shop needs your donations of new and gently used merchandise. Items include clothing, jewelry, bric-a-brac, home decor, and more. Donations are tax deductible and support cancer patients locally and nationwide. They also need volunteers daily. The Discovery Shop is located at 2376 Grass Valley Highway in Auburn. For more information, call 530-888-7434.
Hi, this
Hey
is
there,
Dr.
KAHI listeners.
Join me for my live
Producer
call and
Adam
medical
here
talk show.
to remind you to listen to Chris in the Morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, interviews, and local event reminders you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the Morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early.
13 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:13 a.m. All right, you ever have that moment where you see somebody across the room and like, oh man, I should know them. I know what their name is. I can't think of their name right now. If you're like me, I've actually done this before where I'm trying to pull out my phone and go on social media and say, I'm pretty sure I'm friends with them. I think I know what their name starts with. I know it's pathetic. You should just go up and just say, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. I know that we've met several times. I should know you or have known you for years, but I am totally drawing a blank right now. Well, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and WhatsApp and all that good stuff there, is reportedly developing a super sensing mode for its AI glasses. So it's I think these Ray-Ban glasses that you put them on and they're like a smartwatch where you can talk to them and tell them like, hey, make a note of this and play some music here and do this and that and the other thing. Basically looking for a super sensing mode for its AI glasses that could identify people by name. I don't know how it's tracking these people. I don't know how it's identifying them. Actually, that sounds actually a little bit terrifying. What is this facial recognition technology? Is it just people that you're friends with. I'm imagining on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or whatnot that's how they know it. It doesn't say exactly how exactly that they're going to identify these people, but I got to tell you, there is part of me that wishes. I've always had this social fantasy as an actor. If you're on stage, as you're learning your script, and you're trying to what they call getting off book. So basically, it's like, hey, I've got the script in my hand. We're doing rehearsals. I can look at the script. I can reference it. And then at some point, I've got to put the script down, and I've got to start just flying baby bird on your own. But there is a period of rehearsal where you can go line. So if you're talking and you're in a scene, and you forget your line, you can say line, and somebody who's on book or reading along with you will feed you your line, and then you can continue from there if you can't quite remember it. I've always had this thing of like, oh my gosh, I just love to have an earpiece in my ears. So whenever, just in life, whenever I need like a really good comeback, a really good witty thing to say, I could just yell out line, and somebody would feed that into my ear there, or name, for the person that I can't remember their name for. So wouldn't that be great to just have that little assistant in your ear the whole time? Well, maybe Meta glasses will be that one where maybe they'll do it to where you can call out a line and it'll give you a kind of a witty comeback for whoever you're talking about. But Meta working on these smart glasses for super sensing mode for its AI glasses that could identify people by name. Could be a good thing. Oof. The facial recognition, though, I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that, how far we're going down here on this technology road. But we'll see. We'll find all of that out together. And hey, speaking of technology and tech and news and all of that stuff, it is time for us now to check in with the Fox Business Report.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
NVIDIA is reportedly looking for a workaround to restrictions on chip sales in China. Reuters reporting it's planning to release a downgraded version of its H20 artificial intelligence chips for China in the next 2 months, following U.S. export restrictions on the original model. The downgraded H20 represents NVIDIA's latest attempt to maintain its presence in one of its most crucial markets. Bitcoin holding at over $103,000. Meanwhile, stocks making some big moves. Pinterest, Coinbase, BP, Affirm, and Lyft, which is seeing a healthy jump. The company boosted its share buyback plan to $750 million in its first quarter earnings report, which said earnings were a penny a share and revenue $1.45 billion. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Listen to the Garden Goddesses, Saturday mornings at 8, right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
And this is Cindy from the Garden Goddesses. Thanks for being a loyal listener, and please join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on KAHI, the Voice of the Foothills, and we will teach you all we know about gardening.
I've learned so much myself, and I've only been here a few months. You can learn so much on their show. It is the ultimate gardening show.
Absolutely. So join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9.
Right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
17 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:17 a.m. All right, gang, let's talk about another event for the calendar. It's the Downtown Auburn Co-op. Yeah, it's coming in June. It's going to be the third Thursdays of June and August. First one is June 19th. The Auburn Co-op is the ultimate family-friendly event. There's always something new to enjoy, from kids' crafts to pop-up activities. Previous events have brought fun and games, including drumming circles, street games, water play, climbing walls, and more. You can sip on the best local wine, craft beers, and distilled spirits from the region, taste incredible coffee, sweets, and treats from local vendors, support local artists, and discover one-of-a-kind handcrafted goods. Throw up your arms and dance along with live music performances. Connect with local farmers, nonprofits, and your Auburn neighbors. It is the Auburn Downtown Co-op. It's happening the third Thursdays of June and August. The first one here happening on June 19th. It's family friendly. Bring the family and friends out there. Meet your local neighbors. Hang out. Auburn Co-op. It's happening from 5 to 9 p.m. The third Thursdays of June and August, 5 to 9 p.m. in downtown Auburn. The historic streets of Auburn for an evening of family fun. That is happening. You can find out more at exploreauburn.com. All right, 19 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:19 a.m. We're going to head back now to JT in the Morning. Coming up next, your daily dad jokes at the bottom of the hour.
Today by Joe Thomas.
834-882-4217, a matter of trust. And I think in a lot of ways the debasement of all humanity is this idea of this what feels good, do it. Really the fruits of the baby boomers, and maybe this is their last gasp as the baby boomers exit stage right and finally cede the country to younger people. But this question, the albatross, and as I said, Hamp was texting with it, still is, and we've got folks on the phone as well, this question of why there has never been a U.S. Pope. It is the dogged, though not unique to the United States. Here in Central Virginia, the Richmond Diocese is perhaps one of the worst in the nation when it comes to reassigning leaders of the Catholic faith that have been accused, settlement reached. I mean, it is bad. I don't know the percentages. Somebody asked me once if you took a population of broadcasters and a population of Catholic priests and figured it out as a percentage of population, is it more or less prevalent? We're currently ongoing an ugly situation involving a weatherman here. But I mentioned my confession to you, and maybe because it was never adjudicated, I was never proven to have never sexually harassed an employee of mine in the Floral Park Burger King, then am I still tainted by it? I confess before you hear it didn't happen. But you decide, and this is, and if you read into some of the stories of Cardinal Prevost and his history, the stories seem to revolve around him dealing with a lot of these issues in his postings. And the difference is in Richmond, the stories would never go away. Here, Prevost does actually seem to, when the accusations get to him, they're dealt with. And it seems to be satisfactorily, because in the case of Richmond, the victims never quite seem satisfied with the outcomes. Good morning. You're on the air with Joe Thomas. First thing this Friday morning. Who's this?
Morning, Joe. It's Mike.
Hey, Mike. How are you doing this morning?
Okay. Enjoyed your talk with Father Frank. I might enjoy sitting down and talking with him one day. I am sure, since we are from different parts of the Christian spectrum, it would be an interesting and civil discussion.
Absolutely.
But always nice to learn why someone has their view, even if you know you'll never change it and they'll never change yours. It builds mutual respect.
Well said.
One thing I did want to say was the 10 Commandments, they're not multiple choice and they're not optional. And the most difficult one is the one you're having trouble with. Say you're in traffic, someone cuts you off, you hit your brakes and you get rear-ended. You're now wanting to kill someone. If you're a teenager, of course, your parents are so old they forget what it's like to be a teenager, and they don't know what's going on, and they don't know what's difficult. So now you're having trouble respecting your parents. So the most difficult commandment to keep is the one you're having trouble with, like Sundays. How do you keep, whatever day you consider the Sabbath, how do you keep it holy? That's open for a lot of debate.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
thou shalt have no other God before you, or graven images, or the real challenging ones. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Yeah, but Father, what if it really helps me get a better job? And that's what I think you're getting at, is this multiple choice. Well, considering that, and this was really what made Jesus the most angry. That Passover weekend, when he arrived in Jerusalem for the big Passover, concert and cookout, was when he discovered how the temple had been selling indulgences. So, yeah, I sinned. Here, if I make a contribution, can you forget it? And this is very much what the accusations of all these dioceses that would just reassign malacting priests rather than sorting them out. And that's the bigger issue is, how do you sort these things out? How do you sort them out? Where is it just the accusation? Is the accusation alone worth taking somebody down? If that was the case, we'd have a different president right now. We'd have a different pope right now. If the accusation is enough, what is the adjudication? And that's where I look at these stories about Cardinal Prevost, I guess is how it's pronounced. And do the stories fester? Do the stories linger with people saying, I'm not happy with the results? Or do they get reported and then it seems like the parties are satisfied with the results? And that's the hard thing to do, because in Richmond that was not the case. Richmond, they do something and 6 months later some victim would be like, yeah, they haven't changed anything, or some new victim of the same priest would come up. And again, it's our human frailties and that we forget those 10 commandments, I think, is your message to us, Mike.
Yeah, and I can understand what you were saying about your time with the restaurant. I worked in the office with 2 women in an office location, and it was not infrequent that we would have a banter. Well, the door is open. Someone walks by, they only catch a fragment of it, tots to my supervisor. And it's like, okay, I can see where they're coming from. They didn't hear the whole conversation. They don't know what's going on. So I went into the office the next day, apologized, saying I might not have been sensitive enough, and yet they weren't offended. It was someone passing by the doorway again, but since it allowed me to change and become a better person, since it was brought to my attention, but at the same time, the person that was offended didn't come to me or come to my coworkers and ask about it. That's what happens, and unfortunately, we've become a society where the taking offense happens. We don't look at the context. You look at what's happened. The first administration of President Trump had that happen. A couple of times. Walking down the hall, hearing the fourth hand account of a conversation, and then they go whistle blow to the press. Mike, good stuff, my friend. Yeah. Got to go to the news here. You have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Yeah, and enjoy the lamb.
Hey guys, I'm Teddy Savage, National Lead Trainer for Planet Fitness, and the American Heart Association recommends that we all get at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity in a week's time. But here's the thing, that 150 minutes does not need to be super intense. As a matter of fact, it could just be you moving your body and doing what you already love to do, like exercise. And a stronger heart doesn't just mean cardio, right? It means also infusing your workout routines with strength training as well. So we are super excited to be launching our new plate-loaded strength series in all of our gyms. It's already fitted in 1,700 locations with the goal to have all 2,700 fitted by the end of 2025. So if you need more information, go to our website at planetfitness.com, or better yet, download our free Planet Fitness app. And with convenient locations all around the world and most of our gyms being open 24 hours, there's bound to be one close by you.
For decades, America's offshore oil industry has relied on Port Fourchon, Louisiana. But now, as wind energy continues to grow, many of these vessels, these companies, these people are building and servicing the offshore wind industry. Moving equipment, installing turbines, transporting crews, it's a huge opportunity, and we're proud to be a part of that.
U.S. offshore wind has already announced over $25 billion in infrastructure investments. Learn more at cleanpower.org. Sponsored by the American Clean Power Association.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. You can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 9th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently, it is 63 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 86 degrees. All right, gang, it is that time. It is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh. I don't know, roll your eyes. We'll see. We'll see what we got here for this Friday. Actually, might have a bonus section of dad jokes later on this morning. Producer Shane said he was talking to somebody yesterday, and apparently there were some pirate-themed jokes being thrown around. So when he gets back, he's gone this hour, but might be back in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll see if we can get some pirate dad jokes here. But in the meantime, Jessica sent this one in to live@KAHI.com, live@KAHI.com. What kind of vegetable can work as a sports announcer? What kind of vegetable can work as a sports announcer? A commentator. That's good, Jessica. What kind of vegetable can work as a sports announcer? A commentator. There we go. It's like in potato, producer Adam. All right. Nick here, he sent this one in. Nick says, I had a great conversation with a dolphin the other day. We just clicked. I see what you did there, Nick. All right. I had a great conversation with a dolphin the other day. We just clicked. Well done there. Well done. All right. And finally, how about this one? Why did the river have trouble remembering things? Why did the river have trouble remembering things? It was becoming senile. I don't know. That one, coming up on that one with my own. That was a stretch. Let's try it one more time. Why did the river have trouble remembering things? It was becoming senile. All right. Well, we'll see if producer Shane can redeem us here in the next hour. I think he's got some pirate-themed jokes he'll bring with us. And those have been at least your daily dad jokes for now. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Hi, I'm Martha Barnett.
And I'm Grant Barrett.
We're hosts of A Way with Words, a weekly show about language.
We take your calls from anywhere in the country.
And from outside the country, too.
About anything and everything related to communication.
It's a show about speaking and writing and why we say the things we do.
It's also a show about history, family, and culture.
Satisfy your linguistic curiosity Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
My Friday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, light southwest winds today, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear skies overnight, 55 to 60. This dome of high pressure is going to stick around for the weekend. That's good news. It'll be sunny and warm Saturday, a little bit cooler Sunday, around 88 degrees Saturday, 75, 76 degrees on Sunday, and light breezes over the weekend. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950, KAHI.
Smith Company Incorporated in Loomis reminds all women over the age of 40 to schedule a mammogram. Today's technology offers the earliest detection of breast cancer and the best options for treatment. This simple test could save your life. This message from Smith Company Incorporated, where they specialize in commercial overhead doors. Give them a call at 916-772-3777. That's 916-772-3777 for Smith Company Incorporated, proud to sponsor the Breast Cancer Awareness Program.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment. More events for the calendar. My gosh, there's a lot going on. We'll have your KAHI news, also your mental health minute. Mary Jane Pop coming up in the next hour. We'll talk to her as we do on Fridays. Stay tuned. Lots more to come. Back now to JT in the morning.
First thing today on the Talk Media Network by Joe Thomas.
the second most famous Thomas in Charlottesville.
And we'll take the silver on that one. Certainly, 434-882-4217. Time to find out how gold and silver are faring on this Friday morning. Our friends from the Jefferson Coin Shop, family business. Don't call a call center. Don't invest with a big corporation to which you're just an account number. Talk to people who will come to know you over time. jcsgold.com. And you can also phone them up at 434-979-COIN and talk to actual members of the Luck family. They answer the phone and they mail out the stuff to you as well. James Luck is on the phone with us. James, good Friday morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
Excellent. As always, my day is flying past me with breakneck pace, but that's okay. How are gold and silver greeting this morning?
Yeah, we have a really interesting story with gold here. It's really been at the same level every time that we've checked in here in the mornings. It actually dipped down to just above 3,300 yesterday during the day, which was a great buying opportunity. And the strong thing was that it held right above 3,300, and now it's back up. It's at $3,327 at the moment, which is great to see. And silver is just below even so far on the day at $32.45.
And don't let the rising, values dissuade you. Get now, because if you go to jcsgold.com, James, correct me if I'm wrong, there are charts that'll show you this is not a novelty act. This is not some weird occurrence. This is going on, and it's been going on for a while.
Yeah, you're going to look at that gold chart on our website there on our homepage at jcsgold.com, and you're going to zoom out 5 or 10 years, and you're going to say, man, I should have been buying physical gold a long time ago, because the graph really has gone up in a really steady climb. It's not a crypto boom overnight that you need an internet connection in order to trade. It really is the oldest form of money. Gold and silver have been the standard of money in the monetary system for civilizations throughout history.
It sure ain't shares in GameStop, I'll tell you that much. And James Luck, jcsgold.com. Order anytime online. If you think about it on Saturday, go online to their website. They're open 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., right, on Fridays Eastern time?
That's exactly right. And 24/7 at jcsgold.com. Make sure to place those orders over the weekend, and then I will be the one packaging them up and shipping them out first thing Monday morning to you.
Well, give your mom, Kara, our love here on this Mother's Day weekend. I hope you have a wonderful one, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
That was great. Thanks, Joe.
4-3 family business. Joe, you question my veracity on that. It's a family business. I know his mom, and she's at the store just as much as James is. And that's why I always suggest, because you can get answers, because your questions are going to vary. I've never met somebody who walked away from an interaction with a call center that said, boy, that was really great. I really feel like I had everything answered. Now, Mac is on vacation this week. I'll get you the scoreboard in a moment, what has been going on in the world of sports. But we've got just what we're calling the best of the notebook.
I didn't do the mint julep thing, but was watching the, and I try to tell my students all the time, I said, look, you got to research and go deep, to find out. So after I had journalism, the pick, didn't have any money on his nose. I just thought journalism would be, the winner. He finished second behind sovereignty. Sovereignty, descendant of Secretariat.
Really?
Also, two ancestors are Seattle Saloon affirmed.
Wow.
But, Joe, this will blow you away. In the 151st running Saturday, all 19 horses were descendants of Secretariat.
You're kidding me. Well, I mean,
serious.
if you're going to pay for somebody's seed, let's that's like putting Michael Jordan out to stud. Well,
Exactly.
four starters on the Lakers are all descendants of Michael Jordan.
I totally get it. One writer penned Secretariat was the Nick Cannon of horse racing, which had to be one of the great lines of the weekend. Cannon has 12 kids.
That's
6
great.
different women. And so, anyway, I just thought that was, I thought that was good.
And of course, unfortunately, the difference being Secretariat's family has been paid for, not is paying for all of that siring. So Stephen Curry, speaking of children of, Stephen Curry sat out with a hamstring injury, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, even their best of 7 NBA playoff series, 117-93 with the Golden State Warriors. India has suspended its top cricket tournament for a week amid the military tensions with Pakistan. Pakistan has moved their tournament coming up to the United Arab Emirates out of fears and concerns. The Truist Championship getting underway. Fowler, 8 birdies, strong start there. And NASCAR continues to roll in. They're going to be in California this weekend. Tom Wilson, Capitals, even their series with the Hurricanes 3-1 yesterday. Toronto Maple Leafs took a 3-0 lead over Florida in their best of 7 series. And the Dallas Stars are now going to try to get a 2-0 lead over the Jets in their best of 7 NHL playoff series. So that's just some of what's going on in the world of sports as Mac takes a little well-deserved break. And Tor is actually going to be toasting a glass with him at a wonderful, beautiful vineyard, the King Family Vineyards here. If you're ever in Central Virginia, considered, Wine Spectator magazine named this region of Virginia the wine region, the number 1 wine region on the planet. Take that, Napa. Oh, I know my friends at KSFO. They're like, oh no, Napa. I mean, we could throw down. Just send me, a bunch of Napa, and we'll send you. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. We'll meet in Omaha, maybe for the College World Series there. So I want to jump back to this text message, Joe. That's not fair. You've told us half the story. So what happened with your accusations? Since we're discussing accusations and trust violations. So, and I said I would bear testimony. This never was adjudicated, but in this world where an American cardinal has been named Pope, and I said this to him, what my hope is that being an American cardinal, that maybe he is the one that really kind of, rather than puts this to bed, puts it to light and helps try to heal this. And this email from Sharon, who says, Joe, that's not fair to ask for a percentage of population. Hamp echoes the same thing. It's not right to compare the position of a Catholic priest in the community to a meteorologist. No, it's not. It's apples and oranges, but they are levels of trust violations and the accusations of. And in my case, what had happened was a young girl was struggling very badly in a very, very tightly knit community to fit in her new job. She was very, very concerned about everything that was going on around her. She was constantly flummoxed by the job. She was any job she was asked to do, because she was always looking over her shoulder and trying to fit in more than she was trying to just focus on the task. And I sat her down and I had a meeting with her to say, listen, you're not getting where you need to go because you're too worried about everyone else in the room. You need to worry about yourself. Don't worry about what the other people are doing. And we left it at that. The very next morning, and it was my mistake, I had this meeting just between me and her behind closed doors. So it was her word against mine, whether anything harassing had happened in that meeting. But that's the things that can happen sometimes.
In 2024, the American Heart Association celebrates 100 years of life-saving service as the world's leading nonprofit organization focused on heart and brain health. Heart disease still kills more people in the United States each year than all types of cancer combined, but more than half of Americans are unaware of this fact, according to a recent Harris Poll survey conducted for the American Heart Association. However, the majority of heart disease is preventable. New research has improved the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of heart disease and its risk factors. Efforts led by the American Heart Association have reduced deaths from heart disease by half over the past century and helped people with heart disease live longer and more productive lives while managing their condition and risk factors. To learn more about the American Heart Association's Century of Service and how you can help, visit heart.org/centennial.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are Broadcaster.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 9th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Placerville. Currently 65 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today. Get your short sleeve shirts out there, looking for a high today of 85 degrees. And talking about Placerville and the area up there, let's talk about more events happening for the calendar. Yep, that's the Golden Road Gathering. Heads up, if you're in the El Dorado County side of things or heading that way, the Golden Road Gathering is going to be May 16th through May 18th. It's a multi-day live music event in breathtaking Sierra Nevada foothills. That's right, it is breathtaking, isn't it? It's a weekend filled with incredible performances, community vibes, you gotta have the vibes, people, and non-stop music featuring 30 bands, my gosh, across multiple stages, plus unforgettable late-night shows to keep the energy alive until the early hours of the morning. So if you're one who can stay up until the early hours of the morning, this could be for you. It's the Golden Road Gathering. It's going to be May 16th through the 18th, so that's coming up quick here at the El Dorado County Fairgrounds in Placerville, and that's going to be at 100 Placerville Drive. You can find out more at goldenroadgathering.com. That's goldenroadgathering.com. Lots of bands. Find out the information at goldenroadgathering.com. Again, it's going to be May 16th through the 18th at the El Dorado County Fairgrounds there in Placerville. You can go to the website there to get your tickets. Again, 30 bands across multiple stages, plus unforgettable late-night shows to keep the energy alive until the early hours. Check it out at goldenroadgathering.com. Again, that's going to be at the El Dorado County Fairgrounds, 100 Placerville Drive in Placerville, May 16th through the 18th. Back with your KAHI News right after this.
Are you ready to explore the unexplained, dive into the bizarre, and journey to the other side of midnight? I'm Frank Morano, your host for the most compelling late-night talk show in America. From conspiracy theories to cosmic mysteries, from politics to pop culture, we cover it all, and then some. Join me weeknights from 2 to 6 a.m. right here on the Voice of the Foothills, FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. Don't just stay up late. Stay curious.
And here's your KAHI News for Friday, May 9th. I'm Chris Quant. Historic Yankee Jim's Bridge project set to begin road closing. This is from the Auburn Journal. Work on Yankee Jim's replacement project will begin May 19th, starting a 3-year construction process that will require the closure of Yankee Jim's Road between Gillis Hill Road and Shirt Tail Canyon Road throughout the project. The historic Yankee Jim's Bridge was built in the 1930s and has a total load capacity of 3 tons or 6,000 pounds. The one-lane bridge has served its rural community well, but is now considered to be structurally deficient as it's unable to accommodate many modern vehicles and life-saving emergency vehicles. Due to its historic nature, Yankee Jim's Bridge will remain in place. A new 2-lane arch suspension bridge will be built just downstream. Community members who use the road to travel between Colfax and Forest Hill will be detoured to use Forest Hill Road until the project is complete. Recreational access will be restricted during this time. Updates on recreational closures will be available at Auburn State Recreation Area's website or by phone at 530-885-4527. New CHP vehicles to crack down on video game-styled driving. This is from Fox 40 News. The California Highway Patrol announced the deployment of, quote, low-profile, specially marked patrol vehicles, unquote, aimed at cracking down on what officials called, quote, video game-styled driving, unquote. CHP said 100 Dodge Durangos will be added to their fleet of Dodge Chargers and Ford Explorers as they blend into traffic enough to observe dangerous driving without being detected immediately. Quote, the new vehicles give our officers an important advantage, unquote, said CHP Commissioner Sean Duryea. Quote, they will allow us to identify and stop drivers who are putting others at risk while still showing a professional and visible presence once enforcement action is needed, unquote. According to officials, there are about 390,000 crashes reported annually in the state and 1,000 daily reports of dangerous driving, along with 18,000 citations issued for drivers speeding over 100 miles per hour. CHP said the new vehicles will help officers hold reckless drivers accountable as they take into consideration that speed is a factor in 30% of all crashes and a contributor to traffic deaths and injuries. The first 25 vehicles will be placed in various regions in California this week, and all 100 will be throughout the state by June, said CHP. CHP reminds the community that, quote, speed isn't a thrill, it's a threat, unquote. Back with more news after this.
Sarcoma. Odds are you've never heard that word before. But for the 40 people diagnosed with sarcoma every day, it is a life-changing word. Life-changing and devastating because sarcoma is cancer. Sarcoma is a cancer of bone and soft tissue more prevalent in children than in adults. More than 6,000 people lose their lives to sarcoma each year. Treatment options for sarcoma are limited, and new therapies are desperately needed. More research and increased awareness is necessary to find a cure for a cancer that you probably didn't even know existed until now. Through awareness, advocacy, and research, the Sarcoma Foundation of America is determined to help those affected by this forgotten cancer, to bring hope to the children and adults whose lives are forever changed by a word they had never heard before. Please help us in the fight to find the cure for sarcoma. For more information on sarcoma and the work of the Sarcoma Foundation of America, please go to curesarcoma.org.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, Robert Prevost chosen as the first American Pope. After one of the fastest papal conclaves ever, Chicago native and Villanova University grad Robert Francis Prevost was elected the next pope, becoming the first American to lead the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. The 69-year-old Prevost, who is also a Peruvian citizen and fluent in 5 languages, took the name Leo XIV. In his address to the Vatican crowd, Leo XIV spoke mostly in Italian, emphasizing peace and the need to build bridges. He was seen as a massive long shot to become the Pope, not even appearing as an option on several odds-making sites. But papal connoisseurs say Prevost recently emerged as a plausible candidate to succeed the late Pope Francis due to his global experience, calm demeanor, and ability to unite various factions within the church. Ford is hiking prices on 3 models. The second biggest automaker in the U.S. will increase prices on the Mexican-produced Mustang Mach-E electric SUV, Maverick pickup, and Bronco Sport by as much as $2,000 due to tariffs, Reuters reported. A spokesperson said that the company is not passing the full cost of tariffs on to its customers, but acknowledged that President Trump's historic levies on foreign auto imports played a role in the price hikes. The automaker said last week that tariffs would cost it $2.5 billion over the full year. Trump softened his auto tariff policy last month, exempting car companies from his steel and aluminum levies on top of the 25% tax on foreign vehicles. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Meta is reportedly developing a, quote, super sensing, unquote, mode for its AI glasses that could identify people by name. De Beers, the South African-British diamond giant, is closing its lab-grown diamond business, the company announced, as the value of human-made gems declines. FEMA acting head Cameron Hamilton was fired yesterday, Politico reported, amid reports that President Trump could look to shrink the department or eliminate it entirely. And Match Group, which owns Hinge and Tinder, cut 13% of its workforce as it seeks a turnaround following several executive departures and pressure from activist investors. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is extirpating, meaning destroying completely. Extirpating. And that's your KAHI News for this Friday, May 9th. I'm Chris Quant. Back with more after this.
Placer Farm Supply is celebrating 75 years serving our community. It was wonderful to see everyone who came to our Customer Appreciation Day. For those of you that could not attend, we are still running specials on diamond lemon rice and alfalfa hay. We are welcoming spring with our new garden center, including flowers, herbs, vegetables, soil, and adorable pots. Stock up on your supplies for your flock and pick up some baby chicks. They are sure to go fast with all the demand, so come down soon. Supply is limited. Placer Farm Supply for all your farming and ranching needs.
At Sunrise Natural Foods, those 55 and better save 15% every Wednesday, and everyone can save on hundreds of products throughout the store every day. Save 25% on all Buried Treasure products, 30% on all new Chapter products, and 30% on all Now products. These are just a few of the everyday savings you'll find at Sunrise Natural Foods in Auburn and in Roseville, or at sunrisenaturalfoods.net. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
Can a tragic death hold souls from passing over? Well, Father Nathan says yes, and he helps them make the transition. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. How important is your liver? It can mean life or death. Well, let's take care of it. Mental health issues, why do they seem to be getting more prevalent? And do you feel like you can never get ahead and reach those dreams? Got some stories that will give you the keys to success. That's Pop Talk, Saturday 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KAHI.com. Let's talk life.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It's the energy all around you. Lightning and the thunder. The thrill of the moments to come. Introducing all new high-limit slots, showcasing over 260 exciting slots, impeccable service, premium amenities, and action that's unmatched. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
And now, a mental health minute.
That's right, it's time for our Mental Health Minute. This Mental Health Minute is brought to us by the book I'm Awesome. Here's why, by the way. Also, you're awesome as well. And today's Mental Health Minute is focused on reflecting on your progress. Now, while you're in the thick of following your dreams or trying to figure out what they are, you may feel at times that you haven't made much progress. However, you'd be surprised to see just how much you've progressed even over the span of 1 year. Now think back to where and how you were 1 year ago. What did you do during the typical day? What were you trying to accomplish? What did you spend time with? If you need help remembering that far back, well, maybe you could refer to social media posts, personal photos, or family and friends and family members. I know our kids are really good at keeping track of what's been going on, especially as our memories are getting a little less better. My wife's and mine, they're pretty sharp with that. Now consider all of that, writing down how much you've accomplished since a year ago, and then how much has changed. No matter how big or small the changes, reflect on your progress. So always a good chance to sit back and reflect. I know in the business world we do that. We reflect on, hey, how did this event go? We call it a post-action review. Maybe do a post-action review on the progress that you've made over the last year. And here's a pro tip for you. Make this a yearly activity. the same time every year, look back at your previous reflection and record just how much you've changed since then, because a lot can change over a year. It's hard not to feel great about yourself when you realize just how far you've come. So yeah, today's Mental Health Minute, focusing on reflecting on your progress. It is kind of hard over a year time to just think about, oh my gosh, how far have I come? What have I done? But when you sit down and actually think about it, we all advance. A lot changes over a month, over a couple of months, 6 months, a year. So maybe take some time, reflect on your progress, and see how far you've come. That's today's Mental Health Minute. Consider making it a yearly practice as well, just reflecting on how far you've come over the last year. All right, it is 30 seconds to the top of the hour, 7:59 a.m. We are going to pause for station identification. Coming up, the third hour, Mary Jane Pop will be back with more right after this.
FM 104.5 K2A3CM Auburn and AM 950 KAHI Auburn.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 9th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 8 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950, and KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down. Beautiful Studio A, KAHI Studios. Looking outside at a very active construction work zone right now. There's dirt piling up right outside the door here. They're digging, they're unburying pipes. There's a dumpster being offloaded right in front of me. It's the State Theater construction play-by-play here, apparently, as they're doing all the things. So if you hear some crash and some bangs and some booms around in the background, that's what's happening. But my gosh, the little kid in me is excited to see all these trucks and tools and big diggers and everything all around here. It's kind of fun to watch. I mean, I guess I'm not doing it, so I just get to sit here and observe it. So kind of fun to see all these, the skill levels of all of these tradespeople doing their thing. I am constantly amazed every day as I see all the different aspects of what it takes to actually fix things and restore things, and that not being my jam much at all. It is very cool to see how these guys are working with such skill and precision. Oh, there went the dumpster down on the ground there. So happy Friday to you as we're getting started on this day. Now, we were talking earlier about bands. There's a lot of bands playing. It's time for outdoor concerts. We're getting to that time of year, and there's a band that's going to be playing at an event, and the band's name is called Control-Alt-Delete. I wish producer Shane was here. He's a computer engineer. He works all that. Maybe he'll come in a little bit later. We'll get his thoughts on this. But the band's name is Control-Alt-Delete. They're going to be playing at an event here in Auburn, and we'll keep you up to date on all of that. But I got an email from Ray yesterday. Ray, I didn't have time to get to this yesterday, but Ray said that there's a band called Force Quit. So those computer Control-Alt-Delete, Force Quit, that's kind of the same action there. And Ray had a great idea. Like, who knows? There might be other bands out there with other computer actions that are their names. Like, how about Reboot or Upgrade or Download or Speed Test? Those are ideas that Ray sent in. And might have to have a concert for all of those different band names. So, Ray, I took your idea, and I went to the AI machine, and I said, all right, here's my prompt. I want you to, what would be a good name for a concert that features several bands named after computer operations like Control-Alt-Delete, the Uploads, Speed Test, etc. And I got to tell you, AI did not disappoint. So here's a concert for bands that would feature, or where it would have bands that have computer names. How about this? The Algorithm Rock Fest. How about that? Or how about Binary Beats or Gigahertz Gigs? Or how about this? Latency Live 2025. The Motherboard Music Mayhem, or From Silicon to Sound. Or how about this? Control Alt and Get Down. Hey, these actually might be some actual band names here. This is really good. Or how about this one? Tectonic, or Circuit Sounds, or Chord and Codes, or Code and Chords, I should say. The Input Jam, and Pixel Pitch. All right, AI, you came up with some pretty good names. Oh, Debugging the Silence 2025 is another one there. Oh, that's fantastic. the Algorithm Rock Fest. We might have already said that one. So some really fantastic ideas here by the machines for the machines there. So that's some ideas for some concert series there. I think the what's my favorite here? The Bite Size Beats Bonanza is another one. I think the Latency Live 2025, as far as a concert for bands that have computer names, is my favorite. That's got to be the winner. We'll see if producer Shane gets back here in a little bit. We'll see. We'll get his opinion on that, see what he thinks on that. But Ray, great idea. Taking bands. One is two bands that are actually in existence, Force Quit and Control Alt Delete, and coming up with some fun concert series for those band names. Hey, by the way, we like we like to do at the top of the hour, if today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. You share your birthday with Candace Bergen, American actress born on this day in 1946, and the piano man himself, Billy Joel, born on this day in 1949. So happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you if it's your birthday today. Hope you have a fantastic day. And we need to find out what your day is looking like on your birthday. For that, we're going to turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there on this Friday?
My Friday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, light southwest winds today, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear skies overnight, 55 to 60. This dome of high pressure is going to stick around for the weekend. That's good news. It'll be sunny and warm Saturday, a little bit cooler Sunday, around 88 degrees Saturday, 75, 76 degrees on Sunday, and light breezes over the weekend. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the morning, Monday through Fridays, starting at 6 a.m. My goodness, that's still early. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, and local events you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. Now, where did I put that breakfast burrito?
5 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:06 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, Mary Jane Pop is going to call in, as she does on Fridays. Always fun to talk to Mary Jane. We'll be back with her and more. Stay tuned. Back now to JT in the morning.
Not the answer you want to give, Jill. You put a cocoon around Joe, Jill?
All the treasures that he needs. No wonder Joe's always smiling. He only aims to please you. Let me be your Joe.
Visiting with former Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good. Bob from Farmville, we like to call him. Bob, thanks for hanging on. Bob Good on with us. You were saying you put out a story this week. Yeah. You did a report, and go ahead, finish it. Your newsletter.
My newsletter this week, that if we don't cut spending by this summer, it will not happen in President Trump's 4-year term. Yeah. If Republicans don't do it by this summer through the reconciliation bill, as well as with the appropriations bills that are due for the fiscal year 26, or fiscal that goes into effect October 1, it's not going to happen, because they're going to get more squeamish as they head into the midterms next year. Now is the time. And there's going to be a real battle. And the conservatives and the Freedom Caucus need to say no, they're not going to go along with a reconciliation bill that raises the debt limit by $5 trillion. That's the ask right now, and the intention to raise the debt limit by $5 trillion to try to extend it beyond President Trump's term is the idea. Although $5 trillion at this rate won't be enough. I mean, we're running deficits of $2 trillion a year, so $5 trillion won't even get him through his term. But the Republicans must not do that without meaningful spending reforms and cuts, including Medicaid.
Well, and in that, it's not about taking care of people who need it. It's the expansion of the definition of who needs it, if I understand it correctly, right, Bob?
Yes, it's they eliminated work requirements during the Obama, and then Trump put them back, and Biden took them out. Work requirements for able-bodied working-age Americans. They need to be required to work. It needs to be temporary. They need to reduce the reimbursement rate so states have an incentive to help move people off of welfare, which is what Medicaid is. Well, Medicaid is a welfare system. You've got cash welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, and housing assistance are the four pillars of the welfare economy for the supposed needy, and there are some needy folks there. But most Republicans want to keep a safety net, of course, if not all Republicans, for those who cannot take care of themselves. But the program has exploded massively and has not made a difference in terms of moving people out of poverty.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday with so much of the news swirling around what was Reagan's most dire 9 words: "I'm from the government, I'm here to help." Since 1913 and the beginning of the Federal Reserve all the way through now, it's 115 years of we've gotten poorer, sicker, and dumber with the Department of Education and the HHS and the Fed. I mean, it's just, I don't understand why we keep doing this to ourselves. After 100 years, you'd think we'd figured it out.
Yes, when the government subsidizes something, when the government takes over something, the government spends your money for something, it's almost never is successful. It almost never provides a reasonable return. It almost never improves things. And nothing is a greater example of that than the Medicaid program and the welfare system generally.
So who should we talk to? Should we email Chip Roy or, to steal their nerve to do this? Should we be emailing Mike Johnson and saying, come on, man?
Well, it's real simple. We ought to be telling our own elected representatives. Our own elected representatives, your reach is the 5th and the 6th district, primarily, I guess. And we ought to demand that they... Go ahead.
Well, no, we get Mike Haradopoulos down on the Treasure Coast, and we've got, I think people hear us in Louisiana, where Mike Johnson's from. So we've got affiliates all over the country, Bob. So
everybody's influence is with their own elected representative, and Republicans are the problem or the solution. Republicans can do whatever they want to do in this reconciliation package. They can do whatever they want. They don't need Democrat help. They don't need 51 votes in the Senate. So, yes, they need to reach out to their own elected representatives and tell Republicans not to vote to lift the debt limit without spending cuts and reforms, to pass the House version with some $2 trillion in spending cuts. That's over 10 years, Joe. That's pretty modest.
Yeah.
But the theory is with the economic growth from the Trump tax cuts combined with $2 trillion in spending cuts will balance it. That's the theory. You get $2.5 trillion of economic growth out of Trump tax cuts combined with $2 trillion in spending cuts, and that it balances theoretically. That's much better than the Senate version, which has no spending cuts.
Well, it's theory is a wonderful thing. Now we need to put it into action. Thank you for the clarion call, Bob, and you have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Time for our first things, so we can discuss on First Thing today. Pope Leo XIV, former Chicago-born Augustinian missionary known as Robert Prevost, was elevated yesterday at the Vatican and held his first Mass. He said, together we must try to find out how to be a missionary church, a church that builds bridges, establishes dialogue that's always been open to receive. President Trump congratulated the Pope on his election. It's such an honor to realize he is the first American pope. He also called on Russia and Ukraine to enact a 30-day unconditional ceasefire, expanding the 3-day ceasefire that Vladimir Putin had installed to protect the celebration of the end of World War II yesterday. President Trump is naming Jeanine Pirro, county prosecutor and former elected judge, to be top prosecutor in the D.C. district. Criminal investigation underway into New York Attorney General Letitia James after questions were raised about her real estate and mortgage activities. According to the Albany Times-Union, the FBI office out of Albany is leading the investigation. Quote, "This is being handled at this time by Maine Department of Justice and the Albany FBI field office," said John Sarcone III, who oversees the Northern District of New York. As you heard us mentioning, House Republicans battling over Medicaid spending and making it to the deadline. And India and Pakistan both fired shots at each other using drones.
things that need to be fixed. That's just part of being in a society, in an organization together. However this looks, we were talking about this the other day, Mary Jane, that one thing that I'm trying to talk to my children about is like, hey, listen, I know that there's a lot of negative things out there. There's a lot of negative things. There's a lot of positive things too. But one thing that we've got to remember is we all are stakeholders in this country. Like we all have a common interest. So we've all got to figure, I'm sorry, I will step off of my soapbox here in a minute, but we have got to figure out a way to come together. And yes, there's a divide, but we got to figure out a way to build a bridge.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the things that I was going to talk with the guy from Greece, and he's saying we are too divisive if we can't come together. And I said, and we need to compromise, and compromise means nobody's happy.
Yeah, right.
You know? You got to give up something, so some compromise. Now, this last one kind of fits with what happened yesterday. Of course, we have a new pope.
Yes. American. The first American, yes.
Yes. And so this one kind of, I don't know. You tell me what you think. This is Father Nathan Castle. For the last 25 years, he has helped people, over 500 people, much more than that, make their journey to adjust to life after death. And this is a legitimate priest. He's a Dominican priest. It's sanctioned for what he is doing. These are real-life stories. And how it began to him is that people who passed over, especially if it was like a tragic death, an accident, a car crash, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're not quite sure how to pass over, or they can't pass over. And it started when he was very young, coming to him like in a dream. But he would actually be talking to these people who are on the other side saying, we don't know what to do. How do we get there? What's going on? They're confused. They're very confused. And this is not like a woo-woo. This is for real. I mean, he does this on a regular basis.
Interesting.
And he wrote a book called Afterlife Interrupted. It's a 3-book collection, and he talks to these people on a regular basis. And it started without, him thinking about it or wanting to do something about it. It just came to him.
Really?
And I guess we're all given gifts, and that's got to be a real gift. And I said, are you talking about ghosts? It's not that. Really.
Great question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do we...
No,
yeah.
No, it's not. There's like we pass over in a veil. And that veil is not being pushed back so they can make the journey over and the transition. So I thought, that's got to be fascinating. I want to hear some of the stories.
Would be real interested in that perspective. I don't know. I think both you and I think we believe in there's a spiritual realm out there. There's a spiritual, there's something in the the great beyond, right? There more than just this. And I don't know. I
hope so.
Well, right. Yeah. Like hopefully we're all living up to something here. But I, like you, I've met people that you're like, ooh, you're in tuned on a different level than most people that I've met. And again, that a clairvoyance and like you said, like something that didn't come to him. Like this is something that I've just noticed. So very interesting.
Well, and you know what? I look at it this way. The good Lord gave us all a gift, whatever that gift is. Some people can sing. Some people can act. Some people could be good lawyers.
Yeah.
There's a gift.
Yeah.
We have to, first of all, figure it out, what the gift is, and then move on.
Right.
But, why not a gift like a psychic? Now, I'm not saying all, because there's a lot of fraud and everything in this world.
Sure.
But people are given a gift. And we're all kind of psychic a little bit. Don't we have feelings and deja vu?
You get a gut feeling, right? Or like I've known several, like I've had a dream and then I don't know, it's that deja vu where I'm like, I feel like I've been here before. Like I feel like I've seen this before. I know that's happened to me several times in my life. Mary Jane, we're coming up on time here. Can you remind us again? I want to hear about the podcast too, where people can find that. But if you hear on KAHI first, let's do that.
Yes. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, is Saturday morning. 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday evening, 9 to 11 p.m., 24/7 if you go to KAHI.com and just click on listen. And we'll have we'll have fun, but we'll also learn a lot together, and that's what life is all about. Also, the podcast for it's Pop Star Talk, and we got a couple of stars for you this time around. Every week we put a couple of stars up. And it's old interviews that I did, and it's, what is so weird? If all these interviews, when I play them back, I went, gosh, some of the problems that we dealt with 30 years ago,
right.
they're still here today.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
Great
amazing.
point.
But I do have something that will leave you with a thought.
Okay,
How's that?
love that.
Okay. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it.
Mary Jane, I literally, at a lunch yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine. I used that exact same quote. That is, okay, there's some ESP in the universe then.
There you go.
That exact same quote. And we were talking about, like, there's nothing new that happens. Things happen again, and it's just how we react to it. Oh, my gosh. Do you know who said, I couldn't remember who said that quote. Do you have who said that?
I don't think I have somebody who said it.
I couldn't find it either. Okay, but that is such a great quote.
Smart, you know.
Yeah. Okay. One more time. What a great quote. I love that.
It is 10% is life is 10%. What happens to us, but 90% how we react to it.
I was slack-jawed when you said that because I literally said that quote yesterday. Mary Jane Pop, my gosh, we are on this.
We're all one in this universe.
On the same level. I love it. All right, well, we're going to wrap up Mary Jane's show. You can catch it here on KAHI on Saturdays and Sundays, also at KAHI.com on demand. Gang, that's going to do it for me today. We're going to end with a commercial here. We'll be back with more right after this.
McCullough's is the Foothills Department Store, offering a diverse selection of products for the whole family, from clothing, shoes, accessories, to home goods and gifts. McCullough's focuses on quality and customer satisfaction for locals and visitors alike. Whether you're looking for everyday essentials or unique finds, McCullough's has something for everyone. So save time, save gas, save money by shopping McCullough's Department Store in the Auburn Town Center right off of Elm.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you that Chris in the Morning really is the best way to start your day. And he's not paying me to say this at all. Wink. And yes, he really is holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI Worldwide Headquarters Studios, Monday through Fridays, 6 to 9 a.m. Chris in the Morning here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Now, where is that $3 gift card he said he'd leave me for saying nice things about him? Man, that guy's a cheapskate.
34 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:34 a.m. Gang, that's going to do it for today. We're going to finish out the hour with JT in the morning and the O'Reilly Report. Until we see each other again early Monday morning, as always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself. Remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. And again, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how we react to it. Have a great day, a great weekend. I'll see you Monday morning.
Home of the Bears, still haven't answered the existential question of Pope Leo the 14th. And I think Leo is the right name for a pontiff from Chicago. Hey, it's Leo's here. Shush. He knows Jim McMahon. But the transition to a pope that was born in the United States has opened up one of the biggest issues in the United States, which is these issues with the Catholic Church and priests that behave badly because they're men and men are flawed. And a couple of different emails from a couple of different standpoints on the issues regarding Cardinal Prevost, Father Prevost, in his previous stations, and allegations of misdeeds and how they were handled. For example, from this side, Michael writes in, "Thank you for pointing out that the stories do seem to end when Cardinal Prevost gets involved with these, and that there is not a continued narrative of victims saying that they did not successfully feel like they were heard by the church leaders, and that he may be the right guy to fix some of that." Michael, I appreciate